In this tutorial, we're going over our buttercup pattern. The first step is to unwrap the packaging and secure the fabric in your hoop. And you're going to loosen the screw at the top. And tighten it in place. Kind of center the design here. I like it nice and tight, and secure the fabric taut by pulling it gently around the frame. Now you're ready to stitch. To begin stitching, you're going to separate the floss into the allotted amount of strands, in this case 3. Once you have your thread separated, you're going to thread your needle. I usually lick the ends of the thread to bind them together. Once you have a little tail, I'm going to start with a quilter's knot, which you lay the tail of the thread on top of your needle, hold it in place and wrap it 3 times. You then kind of slide it along the end of the needle all the way to the end of the thread, and there's your knot. You're ready to begin. Here we're going to be doing the back stitch on these stems of the flowers. So to start the back stitch, you bring your needle up about 1 stitch length away from your original stitch, and you just start stitching away. The same stitch is used for all the stems of the flowers in this kit. For the center of the flower, you can do a traditional French knot as shown here, or you can do another simpler version that looks similar to a French knot, but it's basically just a basic stitch. So thread your needle. This is all 6 strands of floss, and double it over so that the tails meet at the bottom. You'll tie your normal knot. And you're prepped for this stitch. So essentially you have 12 strands of floss because you've doubled it 6 strands and 6 strands over. What you do is you just leave the stitch a little loose, like so. Because you have 12 strands of floss, it naturally starts to curl, and it creates these little fluffy stitches, which look very similar to a French knot, or at least have the same effect. So you just fill in this area with those cute little fluffy stitches, and all I'm doing is leaving it loose. You can even puff it out a little bit with your needle to create extra volume, but you're just not tightening the stitch all the way. And you can see how it's starting to twist. You can change the direction of the stitch. Instead of going just up and down vertically, you can kind of go to the side, and it will create a different direction of the stitch, kind of enhance that look. It's a little harder to pull your needle through when you have this many strands of floss going, but definitely has a fun effect. If you'd like to opt for the more traditional French knot, prep your needle like normal with your knot in the base and bring up your needle. What you do is you wrap your needle 1, 2, keeping the thread taut, and just insert it back into the fabric and pull from behind. There you go. We'll do a few. This is 6 strands of floss, wrapping it twice into the fabric. Sometimes you have to wiggle your needle a little bit. There you go. The last step in finishing your hoop is completing the backing. What you'll do is thread your needle with some of that extra white floss, and I use the entire yard length here because you'll need it nice and long. You're going to leave a tail here at the base of your hoop and bring your needle about 1 inch to 1.5 inches away from the edge of the embroidery hoop. So you're going to do a long running stitch around the hoop and then gather it together at the end. So what you do is you just complete these long running stitches. Depending on how much a perfectionist you are, these can be sloppy or neat. And you pull your two tails and just gently tugging on these two tails.